Hello, I am the disembodied consciousness of Trevor, Trevor 2.0. Uploading your consciousness to the internet is not all that it was cracked up to be. Don't believe the hype. Anyway, the following is the best bits from episode 4 of the hit new web show, Four Mortal Quills. Click the link down below if you'd like to watch the full episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
I think I can steer us somewhere here. There is something that is central to all of my gripes with modern aesthetics, and that can be summed up in one word, and that word is minimalism. It is associated with what Tanner was talking about, which I believe is in the ballpark of functionality, utility. Today we are so caught up in making our phones smaller, or then bigger again, or maybe a little bit smaller, just the right size, or we want to compress things to where they're really tiny and take up less space, or we want, this old logo had 15 different colors and whatever, but now it's one solid color and it's really nice and smooth, or on and on and on and on and on and on and on ad absurdum. My gripe is with minimalism. I don't know if you guys have heard that Hank Green or whatever it was audio line where it was like, I hate minimalism. I want to be surrounded by the treasures of my many adventures like I'm a wizard. If you you guys all went to my apartment regularly, you know what it
was
like.
Maximalist.
It was absolutely maximalist. There wasn't an inch of space on the
this
wall.
man had some stuff.
Now, that's a personal preference of mine, but I don't think there's any mistaking that the United States culture is very much shifted towards minimalism. One of the go-to examples I point to is the way that fast food chains have rebranded their architecture and sort of their overall persona, but also other aspects of architecture, new skyscrapers and things like that, very minimalist. The super rich are building these crazy modern homes in the hills of Los Angeles and other places.
And filling it with nothing.
Yeah. Filling it with, if you've ever seen...
Lots of air.
Hey.
There's a great video by Cody Ko and Noel Miller where they interview the Kombucha King, GT Dave. If you guys have ever had kombucha, he's got one of the most popular brands. But they go to his house, and of course he's got a ton of money. The guy's selling kombucha, and his house is just this
kombucha.
Just a bunch of square boxes, and there's just emptiness everywhere, and like there might be a little pedestal here with a piece of art, or I don't know. Something about it just really irks me the wrong way. But yeah, I think the main gripe is minimalism. Thoughts?
I need to interject something here. It's a good moment. So in the survey that I did, for those of us listening, I did a survey. There were 52 responders, and we'll get into the data as needed. But I asked people to define their reason for saying if aesthetics is getting better or not better in one word, just one. And among the sample taken for not getting better, and in fact getting worse, we had such answers as oversaturation, sensationalism, and minimalism. Minimalism came up at least once, as Brayton has just revealed, but it was more like 3 or 4 times it was independently brought up. One thing that I'd like to suggest is that maybe minimalism is a response. And what I mean by that is, as our lives become more and more cluttered, think about all the technological stuff you do every day, dear listener, watching videos, listening to this podcast, making your life more complicated in a digital landscape. Perhaps minimalism is a response to that. Perhaps we need empty spaces to look at.
I think that is to say, Brayden, specifically, if I were to speak to you on this, it seems to me that you're a maximalist. What is fundamentally you, what you're attenuated to. You're a bit like Dionysus to me. You're this person that expresses will in all sorts of ways. Just as a story, you took me to a weird goth night once, and we just went to this huge raving party, and it was just every single type of human person that could possibly exist was in one place. just screaming and shaking their heads back and forth. And I could tell you were utterly and totally in your element at that moment. I had never seen you more in your element than just trash, hanging out with just 70-year-old men dressed in blacked off gowns, and y'all were just doing the Macarena. It was just the most insane thing I had ever seen. And you quite literally were in the nth degree the most bright I had ever seen you. I think you're a maximalist, and I think you evaluate reality in those means. So, of course, minimalism is disgusting. If you were to find like an Apollo type, somebody with a sense of control, somebody who, like Stephen said, somebody who's in a maximal environment where they're just dealing with too much, whether that be in their upbringing or whether that be right now in their home, in their world, they look for the minimal focused moment where they can. And I think just like that, you have a completely different way of evaluating reality.
Try to separate myself from fast food as much as possible for corporate reasons, for health reasons, for a multitude of different reasons. I read a book called
for child labor reasons.
Right. There's a great book called Chew on This. I can't remember the author's name, but fantastic book. It isn't as critical of fast food as I think it could be, but it does give you a very good look at the history and how basically everything copied McDonald's and yada, 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 and why it's terrible for you and people have really easy access to it. Anyways, there's a McDonald's that is right up the road from my house that I had been going to ever since I was a kid. This was back in the day before McDonald's, along with many other fast food companies, modernized their architecture. Almost every fast food place you can find, with the exception of a few, have updated their architecture, interior, and kind of overall branding to reflect a very minimal, modern style. Back in the day, this was none other than a rock and roll McDonald's. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was it was rockin'.
Willis.
Yes, if we can get some fair use.
It was bumping in there.
Yeah,
my goodness.
Can we get some fair use for the rock and roll McDonald's here? Insert now. Inside,
real quick, Brayden, can you imagine that my high schoolers right now have no idea what you're talking about? Like me and you, went to McDonald's expecting all of that. And now they will never have the ability to look at it, Right.
And the reason for that, too, as an aside, and you can find this and Chew on This, is that a big part of marketing for fast food is that they found out that the way to get the money is to cater to the children, because the children are going to nag their parents over and over and over to go to McDonald's, and so the parents are going to go to McDonald's and get the kids food, and then the parents are hungry, so they're going to get something too, and the kids are going to get hooked, and they're just going to keep coming back more and more and more and more. McDonald land, play places, all that business, all wrapped up. Collect all the toys, collect all the Beanie Babies. They were great. I had some and I lost them. Anyways, all that to say, this was a rock and roll McDonald's. They had Elvis memorabilia on the inside. There was black and white tiles. There were neon lights that were up on the walls. They had different little pictures. They had an old gas pump right when you walked in. It had character. It had its own unique style compared to probably many of the other McDonald's all across the nation. It told a story when you walked in. You wondered about the old gas pump. You wondered about Elvis. You sat there and you saw Marilyn Monroe wardrobe items up in a frame on the wall. It just had character. Even before the McDonald Land stuff, there was a whole narrative about McDonald Land and these characters, which I think is not now. I think they've really done away with that for the most part.
And they've ripped on McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, rip. I mean, I don't know what happened. But anyways, fast forward many, many years, and I'm doing DoorDash. And I need to pick up some food at this McDonald's that I have not been to the inside of since they renovated. They may have renovated twice, actually, because I remember the exterior changing and nothing on the interior. And then perhaps later they renovated the interior because it has those kiosks now where you order yourself, which I hadn't seen actually anywhere around here at all at any time. Anyways,
I don't know if y'all remember, but I've actually done quite a bit of construction work, and I can tell you that it was almost certainly two, because the McDonald's around here has the same thing. Like, it's a 2-stage renovation. They do one part and invite these people to do it, and then they do another part and invite those people to do it, and so on.
Right. And so this is what brings me to the messages that I sent that prompted this episode of Four Mortal Coils. I went inside this McDonald's to pick up a DoorDash order, and I look around at what has become of a once great rock and roll McDonald's.
Yeah, just bumping McDonald's.
I was horrified. I was really horrified, and I'm rushing through our Discord now to try to find these pictures that I sent, but I'm just going to describe them from memory. The walls
is rolling in his grave. They've
walls.
shot the clown.
I mean, allow us, Brayton. You know, we've already said it. If you did a 360 in this McDonald's, you wouldn't even find the yellow. You know,
right? The walls were stark concrete gray, looked unfinished, looked like somebody poured a slab of concrete as the wall and left it there.
And left it there.
There were metal.
Whatever happened to the effigy of Ronald McDonald sitting on the bench out front?
Right. You can't even get a picture with Ronald anymore.
Idolism.
Right. And this was the worst part. This was the only time that I ever really sat back and went, holy cow, this is so bad. I walked around the entire restaurant just looking, and the worst part was when I got to the play place. The one part that's supposed to have a shred of life for the kids, for the children.
Kids.
Dimly lit. They copied and pasted the same bleak gray hellscape into the play place. Even part of the actual like construction of the play area the color was gone. I don't know if you guys ever played that old game.
Our McDungeon.
I don't know if you guys ever played that old game Toontown, but the whole point of the game was that you were these bright, happy, colorful toons, and there was Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all these other characters.
Yes,
and
yes.
The corporate capital, I mean, there were multiple different versions, but basically these robotic people were coming to take over Toontown and turn everything gray and into a company to make money and profit or sue people.
And that's
or
what happened.
I don't know. That's exactly what happened to the McDonald's. The cogs took over the McDonald's, and now it's a 4-story HQ, and you got to get you and 3 other buddies to go and throw pies at the CEOs until they make it happy and fun again. I don't know. I don't really want fast food places to cater to children again because I think it's terrible for them, but the point is that the aesthetics have gone to the shitter.
But Trevor, surely you can agree with me. You know, like that. It's not like they replaced it for a reason. It goes back to that claim and argument thing that I said earlier. In other words, it cost them money to remove all that stuff. Why'd they do it?
Well, I would say this. When you say your first claim, your first statement, I completely agree with. That we surround ourselves with meaning. As soon as you start to exist in this place, in this where you presently are, and begin interacting with reality, you exist and surround yourself with meaning. But don't think for a second that it's not all meaningful. For example, when it comes to New Orleans and like these old buildings, Brayton's absolutely correct in saying that they are endlessly meaningful. The aesthetic of it is true. It's beautiful endlessly. But so is the coming of the next age. Just like conservatives today. Like if we're talking about political conservatism. So to be conservative is to want to keep the beautiful things that you have fallen in love with all around you, of your society, of your country. We want to keep them the same. That you can find beautiful things in that which is around us. But just like Brayton himself being a very political left liberal person, there's also beautiful things in bringing change. Brayton himself, within him exists the alternative of the position that currently exists, that is being espoused. All of these things are meaningful.
Well,
to say
Trevor,
that you look for meaning is true, but the objects that underlie them change all the time. And if you want to talk about McDonald's, like they don't care and they made this change. That is true. And so it is also true, and I think Brayton touched upon this earlier, about bringing in the child stuff in the first place. If we're going to talk about the overall weird nature of McDonald's, then it's all just capitalist and all that kind of stuff. If you want to take that lens, if you like, it all comes to be true for all of it unilaterally, both when it comes to all the colorful neon as well as the weird minimalist stuff that they have today. But at the end of the day, all of it is just meaningful insofar as you look for meaning and want meaning in the things that are around you. You create these meanings yourself. It is meaningful insofar as you find it meaningful.
Thank you for watching. I hope to see you at our next Best Bits upload, and I hope all your dreams come true. You can meet me, Trevor 2.0, as well as other robots and people on our Discord community. Links down below.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got.
Taking a break from all your worries should help a lot.
Wouldn't you like to get away?
Sometimes you wanna go
Where everybody knows your name.
And there always what you can.
You wanna be where you see troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
You're goddamn right.